Is Spain simply another NATO member with no real strategic relevance, or does it possess an air architecture with strategic weight of its own that controls the most critical point in Europe that no one else can defend? When people talk about air power in Europe, media attention usually focuses exclusively on France with its nuclear force or the United Kingdom with its Queen Elizabeth carriers. However, the Spanish Air and Space Force occupies an absolutely singular and unique geographic and strategic position. It does not compete for global supremacy against the United States or other major powers. It does not seek independent nuclear autonomy like France, which developed its force de frappe. In the next 15 minutes, you are going to discover why 3 aircraft explain Spain's entire strategic role. You will see how Spain controls the western access to the Mediterranean in a way no one else can geographically control. And you will understand why its unique geographic position makes it an absolutely irreplaceable part of NATO. We are going to look at a Eurofighter Typhoon that guarantees modern air defense at the level of Europe's major powers. An F/A-18 Hornet that provided decades of real operational NATO experience. And an A400M Atlas that projects logistical power where France or Germany cannot easily reach. But above all, you are going to discover that Spain does not design its security alone, but within a permanent strategic alliance. And that it controls Europe's southern flank, the Atlantic gateway to Africa, and the airspace between Europe and North Africa. Because Spanish air power is not measured by size, but by a unique and irreplaceable strategic position. If you want to understand why Spain is strategically more relevant than it seems, like and subscribe now. This analysis is based on strategic geography and real operational capabilities, not size comparisons. But it does play an absolutely critical role on Europe's southern flank that no other member state can replace geographically. And to understand its current architecture in full, it is enough to analyze in detail 3 fundamental pillars that define its operational capabilities: the Eurofighter Typhoon, the McDonnell Douglas F/A-18 Hornet, and the Airbus A400M Atlas. These 3 aircraft explain its operational present and its planned strategic transition into the future. Spain is not at the geographic center of developed Europe. It is on its absolutely critical and irreplaceable strategic edge. It controls geographic access points that no one else can physically control. The entire western access to the Mediterranean from the Atlantic. The direct Atlantic gateway to the African continent. The critical airspace between southern Europe and North Africa. The strategic island environment of the Canary Islands in the South Atlantic. The Strait of Gibraltar that connects 2 strategic seas. That makes its air force an absolutely irreplaceable key element within NATO's Mediterranean architecture. Not because of fighter numbers or total budget, but because of a unique geographic position that provides access to theaters other NATO members do not control. If you are interested in analyses of military strategy based on geography and real strategic position, not on fleet size or comparative budgets, subscribe to the channel. We analyze forces for what they contribute strategically to alliances, not for how many aircraft they have in total inventory or how much they spend annually on defense. The Eurofighter Typhoon is the current core of modern Spanish air defense and air superiority capability. Originally designed as a pure air superiority fighter to dominate the skies, it has evolved into a full multi-role platform that includes air-to-ground attack. Its main role within the Spanish Air Force is absolutely clear and defined: defense of national airspace against any threat, rapid interception of unidentified threats, integration into the NATO network through Secure Link 16 data links, and active participation in rotational Baltic air policing missions protecting Allied airspace. The Spanish Typhoon is not just another combat aircraft. It is the technological standard of Spanish air defense. It allows Spain to operate at exactly the same technological level as larger European powers such as Germany, Italy, or the United Kingdom. And that guarantees real operational interoperability without technical limitations. Spain operates the Typhoon in a modern configuration with the Captor-E AESA radar in a process of continuous modernization. long-range Meteor BVRAAM missiles with ranges beyond 150 kilometers, advanced electronic warfare systems, aerial refueling capability for extended persistence. This means a Spanish Typhoon can operate fully integrated with British, German, or Italian Typhoons without operational limitations. They share tactical data links. They share operating procedures. They share combat doctrine. That interoperability is real, tangible strategic power. In a real NATO conflict, Spanish fighters would operate as part of a larger air network, not in isolation, multiplying the total effectiveness of the overall system through coordination. The F/A-18 Hornet, acquired in the 1980s and 1990s during Spain's democratic transition, has for decades been the backbone of Spanish air combat. It has operated in multiple real-world scenarios, accumulating invaluable experience. NATO missions in the Balkans during the Yugoslav conflicts of the 1990s. Continuous air policing over national airspace. International operations in multiple theaters from the Middle East to the Atlantic. Deployments aboard the carrier Príncipe de Asturias when it was operational, providing naval capability. Today, it is in the transition phase toward gradual replacement by more modern Typhoon units. But its historical role has been absolutely crucial for Spain over the last 30 years. It provided full introduction into modern Western NATO doctrine, full adaptation to advanced Western and American systems, real operational experience in sustained multinational deployments, the training of entire generations of pilots to NATO standards. The Spanish Hornet came with a full package: extensive American training at U.S. bases, significant technology transfer, integration with Western weapon systems, and NATO operating procedures. If you value honest analyses of real military capabilities and Europe's strategic evolution, subscribe for more content like this. Your support makes possible serious analyses of European forces that you will not find in conventional media. The Spanish Hornet represents strategic continuity during the democratic transition. It is obviously not the future of the Spanish Air Force. It is the bridge that allowed Spain to integrate fully into the Western air architecture after decades of isolation during the Franco dictatorship. Spain received extensive American training for years. It adopted NATO procedures completely and without reservation. It integrated advanced Western weapons systems. And it accumulated invaluable real operational experience that no simulator can replicate. Without the Hornet, the later transition to the Typhoon would have been much more technically complex. The Hornet provided the doctrinal, operational, and technical foundation that made that technological leap possible. Here a less visible strategic element appears, but one that is absolutely essential to Spanish capability. The Airbus A400M Atlas is not a spectacular air combat fighter, but it explains something fundamental about Spain's real strategic capability: the ability to project power sustainably over long distances. Spain does not only defend its national airspace against threats. It actively participates in international missions, deploys forces rapidly, and maintains permanent presence in territories such as the Canary Islands or in sustained operations abroad in Africa. The A400M provides critical capabilities that no fighter can provide: strategic transport of entire troop units and heavy material, rapid projection to sub-Saharan Africa or Eastern Europe, and logistical autonomy within NATO operations without depending entirely on American allies. It can transport heavy armored vehicles, full helicopters, and fully equipped troops. It can land on austere, unprepared runways. It can refuel in flight to extend range. It can operate from austere African bases without infrastructure. In a modern air architecture, without strategic mobility, there is no prolonged operational sustainability. And Spain has invested significantly in that through the joint European A400M program. Spain is one of the main European operators of the A400M. This provides a degree of strategic autonomy that few medium-sized European countries currently possess. It can deploy full battalions to Africa. It can evacuate citizens during crises. It can sustain operations without depending completely on others. That autonomy is tangible strategic power. If these studies on European strategic capabilities are valuable to you, consider subscribing. We publish in-depth analyses of forces that go beyond superficial comparisons of fighter numbers. If we carefully combine the three pillars, a completely clear and coherent strategic model appears. The Eurofighter Typhoon guarantees modern air defense at the level of major European powers. The F-18 Hornet has provided NATO experience and integration during critical decades. The A400M ensures strategic mobility and independent sustained projection. It is not an architecture intended to compete individually with superpowers such as the United States, Russia, or China. It is an architecture designed for different and realistic objectives. To defend national territory effectively against threats. To integrate fully into NATO as a credible operational member. To contribute significantly to the European balance. To secure the critical southern flank that no one else can secure geographically. Spain does not design its national security alone in isolation. It designs it in permanent alliance with NATO. And that completely defines its operational structure and its procurement decisions. Spanish doctrine is not autonomous in the French style. It is fully allied. It does not seek the ability to act alone against major threats. It seeks the ability to contribute effectively within a NATO coalition. That is not strategic weakness. It is strategic realism based on geography and economic capacity. No medium-sized European country can guarantee security alone against major threats. All depend on alliances for real security. Spain has chosen deep NATO integration without reservations. And it has built an air force consistent with that fundamental strategic decision that defines everything. The analysis must be fully balanced and free of exaggeration. Spain faces real and significant challenges that cannot be ignored. A fleet limited in total numbers compared with major powers. Approximately 130 operational combat fighters in total when combining Typhoon and Hornet. A constant need for costly ongoing modernization. Partial dependence on European decisions in future programs such as the shared sixth-generation FCAS. A limited defense budget compared with wealthier France, the United Kingdom, or Germany. Difficulties in maintaining consistently high levels of operational availability. Competition for resources with other branches of the armed forces. However, its NATO integration compensates for a significant part of those inherent structural limitations. Spain does not need individual supremacy over potential adversaries. It needs interoperability with NATO allies. It needs demonstrable operational credibility. It needs the ability to contribute effectively to multinational coalition operations. And it has shown that. Spanish Typhoons regularly operate integrated with allies. Spanish pilots constantly train with NATO in exercises. Procedures are fully standardized with allied standards. Spain is actively participating in the FCAS program alongside France and Germany as an equal partner. This ambitious sixth-generation project seeks to create a fully integrated air system with collaborative drones and a completely new advanced digital architecture. FCAS is not just a stealth fighter. It is an integrated full system. A manned fighter acting as a command node, collaborative remote carrier drones conducting attacks, a shared digital networked architecture, and advanced next-generation network warfare. Development is planned through 2040 with entry into service afterward. A massive European investment shared among partners. Spain participates as an equal partner with France and Germany in development. That indicates something strategically important in the long term. Spain does not only buy technology developed by other countries. It participates directly in its joint development. And that is fundamentally strategic in the long run. It provides aerospace industrial capacity. It provides advanced technical knowledge. It provides partial strategic decision-making autonomy. Spain will have a voice in defining FCAS operational characteristics. It will have the ability to maintain it nationally. It will have a strengthened aerospace industry for the future. This participation is a strategic investment that goes beyond simple acquisition. If we see 3 Spanish aircraft lined up on a military runway, Eurofighter, F-18, and A400M, we are not looking at a global air superpower with worldwide power projection capability. We are looking at a coherent architecture within an allied framework. Spain does not seek autonomous global air dominance. It seeks realistic goals that are absolutely achievable. Credible defense of national territory against threats. Deep and permanent European integration without reservation. Sufficient operational autonomy to contribute. The ability to contribute effectively in multinational NATO coalition scenarios. Spanish air power is not measured by the absolute size of its total fleet. It is measured by its unique, irreplaceable strategic position and proven reliability within NATO. It controls geographic access points no one else controls. It provides strategic bases no one else can provide. It secures the southern flank that no one else can secure effectively. And in that specific strategic context, its role is much more relevant than is sometimes perceived superficially. Spain is an irreplaceable piece of Europe's security puzzle. Without Spain, NATO would have a serious problem on the Mediterranean southern flank. Without Spanish bases, projection toward Africa would be far more logistically complex. Without Spanish airspace, control of the Western Mediterranean would be incomplete. Rota provides unique naval access. Moron enables rapid deployments to Africa. Zaragoza is a critical logistical hub. The Canary bases control the South Atlantic. Geography is permanent strategic destiny. And Spain has unique geography that provides permanent strategic value independent of economic or military size. Its economy may be smaller than Germany's. Its budget may be smaller than France's. But it has geography no one else has. And that is tangible strategic power. If this analysis helped you understand Spain's real strategic role beyond simple figures, subscribe to the channel for more studies on European forces and the NATO balance.